Royal Black, power, truth, facts.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We want it now, or we don't think anybody should have it.
Testing 1 2 1 2. All right, man. Here we go. Let's get it going. Wanted to make sure that the audio was working. I don't know, had a couple of glitches. Didn't want to talk for a whole hour this time like I did the other day, and nobody heard what I was saying. So anyway, this is your man T Can, and you are back to the channel that they call Royal Black. And I guess you've seen the title. Stop talking about Black Wall Street, even though I left the T off. Think you get the message. I'll go back and correct that later on. I don't know. I kept having some difficulties getting this up and running. But we are up and running. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. So why am I saying stop talking about Black Wall Street? That's probably the first thing that you're wondering. Why am I saying stop crying about Tulsa? Well, to me, it diminishes when you constantly, every time we try to talk about black accomplishments, we go to Black Wall Street, we go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and to me, it diminishes all of the other towns and areas that we built as black people, which was a lot of them. It was over 1,200. That's number one. It's over 1,200, and we only talk about one out of 1,200 places. You're diminishing our accomplishments by only talking about Tulsa. But I was like, okay, so maybe they don't know. Maybe they're only talking about Tulsa because Tulsa is the only place that they know. Maybe that's the only place that they heard about. So I'm here to correct that for you. So anyway, with no further ado, I'm not gonna hold up, but I do want you guys to like, share, and subscribe. I didn't even get the little thing set up the way I was supposed to, but hope you guys like, share, subscribe to the video, hit the notification bell so you can see what I got coming up next, because if God is willing and the devil don't interfere, I plan to come right back later on the night, and I plan on coming right back on Sunday. Even though those will probably be the last times that I do lives for a while. I'm probably going to go back to pre-recorded content. Uh, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about the black towns that we had, the black towns that we built, the black areas that we built, which is plenty. And like I've told you many times, or I told you a few times, I'm not going to say many times, I live in one. I live in one of those towns, right down here in Durham, North Carolina. But we'll get to that. And the area, first of all, Durham itself is heavily populated with blacks. But the specific area that I live in, it got to be in the high 90s. I mean, like 99. Uh, and most of the small businesses are black owned. It is not a Tulsa. It is not wealthy. It is more like survivors. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like after, what would it look like after you did your best to destroy a city, but you didn't, or an area, but you didn't quite get it destroyed? It got that. We got a HBCU, UNCCU. Right up the street, we got black owned barber shops and convenience stores, hair salons, herbal places, uh, soul food restaurants, things of that sort. Not the largest businesses in the world, but it is definitely black people trying to hold on to something. Uh, but anyway, let's move on in. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to present you with this map here. I want to present you with this map. And basically, what this map is, this is a map, of course, of the United States. In the first place we got lit up on it is Florida. Just bear with me 1 minute, because I'm not gonna lie, man. I really wasn't into it, man. I was supposed to get on here yesterday. That's what I'm trying to ram two in one day. I was supposed to get on here yesterday, but I really wasn't into it. I'm not really into history lessons, to be honest. That's not really my cup of tea. Uh, bear with me. I'm trying to find this map. I mean, not the map, but trying to find how I can interact with it. But I tell you, I guess while we're waiting on that, while I'm getting figured out, gotta be it. Okay, so here we go. Now let's get going. Okay, so the first place we're starting with today, just in case you only thought that Tulsa, Oklahoma was the only place that we built. We got Fort Moses, Florida, which was founded back in 1738, the first free black settlement in what became the United States. So this was already here before the United States was here. I know a lot of you FBAs, y'all should know that, but here you go. And just bear with me, because it's a lot of them. I'm gonna try to move through them quick. Pretty in a minute, I'm just gonna hit play, and whatever I can tell you, I'll tell you. If I miss it, in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and just hit play now, so we can keep it rolling. Cause I got a lot of stuff up here. We got Philadelphia, free community. We got Seneca Village. I'm pretty sure you heard of that. Timbuktu Island. Hold on, I gotta pause. I'm gonna take it back. We got Timbuktu, New Jersey, 1826. I'm gonna take it a little slower than that. A free black community that sheltered the Underground Railroad. So we're talking about places we're still in slavery. We're still enslaved people. These are places that we built. 1830, Brooklyn, Lovejoy, Illinois, 1830, Illinois. Now keep on because we're gonna be frequent in Illinois quite a bit. I know we've been talking about East St. Louis, Illinois, and we'll get to that. You'll learn a little bit about that because that also was one. But anyway, one of the oldest black founded towns in America, 1830, which of course is near St. Louis. We got New Philadelphia, Illinois, 1836, the first U.S. town legally, what is that? Platted by the platted and registered by a black man, Frank McWhorter. McWhorter, forgive me. I need my reading glasses, is what I really need, which I don't have. I left them somewhere. We got Weeksville, New York, 1838. And I'm just going to kind of plow through these now because it's going to take a minute because it's a lot of them. Laos Station, Indiana, 1849. Wilberforce, Ohio, 1856. We have Africatown, Alabama, 1860. Mitchellville, South Carolina, 1862. Freedmen's Village, Virginia, 1863. I mean, we was putting these things up. We was putting these things up left and right. And notice, we haven't even heard to Tulsa, Oklahoma yet. We hadn't even got there yet. Sapelo Island, I may be pronouncing it wrong. Sapelo Island, Hog Hammock, Georgia, 1865. Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C., 1860s. The magnet for free people. And later, U Street, the nation's Black Broadway. Rosewood, Florida. Of course, you've probably seen the movie and everything. You know what? If you've seen the movie, if you haven't seen the movie, go check out the movie. John Singleton did a pretty good job on it. 1870. Who did it have in there? Ving Rhames and some other cats that was in the movie. I only remember Ving Rhames, to be honest. But it was some other notable actors in there. It might have been, I don't want to say his name if he wasn't in there, so I'm going to just keep quiet on that. Promised Land, Tennessee, 1870. And you see that the map is lighting up green. You see that? I mean, the map is just lighting up green. It's lighting up like a Christmas tree. Nicodemus, Kansas, 1877. The oldest surviving black town west of Mississippi. Now a National Historic Site. Princeville, North Carolina, my stomping ground, 1885. The first town charted by Black Americans in the nation. Hayti. Now this is where I'm at. This is the town that I'm in right now. Hayti, Durham, North Carolina. In fact, let me see if I can adjust the screen. So I'm gonna adjust this screen so y'all can see. Just bear with me a minute. I want to adjust this screen because there's some things down here that I can see that y'all can't see. I want y'all to see it with me. It looks like I'm in the way of it. But anyway, let's see if I can adjust it a little bit more. Get up, get it up there. Let me get some things out of the way as well. Okay, we got Hayti, Durham, North Carolina, 1880s. Durham's Black Wall Street. Durham's Black Wall Street of the South on Parish Street. Your backyard, my backyard. So anyway, we'll keep on moving. Uh, and y'all can pretty much read this stuff. I don't even have to read it. We can kind of just you can pause the video whenever you come back and look at it, and you can check out some of the details. But the jewel of the Delta, and we'll keep on moving because, like I say, we're only at 20. Uh, we got Eatonville, Florida, 1887. We got Langston, Oklahoma, 1890. Kinloch, Mississippi, 1890s. Highland Beach, Maryland, 1893. Wilmington, North Carolina. If y'all don't know about that, back in my stomping ground, so to speak. But if y'all don't know about that, we have politicians there, and let me see what it says. A black majority city with black aldermen and a daily paper. Uh, and it says you'll see it again. I guess we're gonna come back to it again. But 1890s. But anyway, we had a lot of politicians, black politicians down there that they lynched, massacred. But we'll carry on. We won't get on that note yet. Tallahassee, Oklahoma, 1899. Buxton, Iowa, 1900. Grambling, Louisiana, 1901. Taft, Oklahoma, 1902. Boyle, Oklahoma is still around. 1903, this was one of the wealthiest places, just like Tulsa. Just to throw that out there. It's not now, but it's actually still there. They have a rodeo. They have this famous rodeo. Some of you may know about it. Clearview, Oklahoma, 1903. Rent, Rentisville, Oklahoma, 1903. Blackton, New Mexico, 1903. Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now we finally got to it. Since y'all love talking about it, there it is. Finally. You see we already done 33 times before it even ever existed. And trust me, it wouldn't exist if those 33 towns didn't exist before it did. Uh, these 33 towns helped pave the way for Tulsa, Oklahoma. So let's make sure that we pay these other places some homage. Let's get at least 4 or 5 names in our Rolodex. So when we're having a debate or when we're trying to tell people about our accomplishments, it doesn't look like an anomaly. Like when you just say Tulsa, Oklahoma, it look like, okay, they had a fluke. They had one successful place out of the whole United States. Whoopie doo. We had tons of them. Like I say, over 1,200. That's what I don't think a lot of you guys understand. We have over 1,200. But carry on. Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We know what happened there. We don't have to talk about it. DeWitt, Nebraska, 1907. Allensworth, California, 1908. Deerfield, Colorado, 1910. Idlewood, Michigan, 1912. And then, okay, I guess we're wrapping it up now. And then more than 1,200 black towns and settlements. You just saw 39. There were more than 1,200. We couldn't fit them on the map. Now watch what happens next. Watch what happens to them. And this is why you don't know about it. This is why you don't know about them. Because a lot of these things that's about to happen to these towns happened when it was a lot easier to hide stuff. Uh, but when you in a debate, you make sure you go back to these resources and you pull out the cards, you pull out the receipts. Don't be stuck on Tulsa, Oklahoma. Give our ancestors the credit that they deserve because they built these cities. They built these towns. We didn't. That's something I want to talk about too. We didn't build them, they built them. Let's give them the credit and let's quit trying to take credit for what they built. Let's take credit for what we built. And I know a lot of you don't like the sound of that, but hey, let's just keep it real. Let's just say I got a rich uncle and he's a multi-millionaire. I can't go around boasting that I'm a multi-millionaire. That's his money. That's his accomplishment. That's what he did. So when somebody tell me, hey, look, man, hey, T, you ain't got no money, what guess what? You right. You know, I'm not gonna be like, hey man, my uncle a multi-millionaire. I mean, it doesn't do me any justice. I mean, yeah, I can say that he's a millionaire and be proud of his accomplishments, but I can't claim him as my own. If I want to boast about being a millionaire, I got to get out and find out how to get it. Maybe go take some notes, some lessons, see what he did, see how he built his fortune, and try to duplicate it and keep that legacy going instead of just claim all of his accomplishments. But anyway, let's move on. Now, The Wages of Whiteness, that's a book, by the way. You might want to check it out, but it's a phrase that came from W.E.B. Du Bois, and he was talking about it is a wage to whiteness. Now, of course, the ones that's lit up in red, they, you know what they do. You already know what red means. Uh, that they came through and destroyed it or nearly destroyed it, but they definitely became envious of the place, became envious of the people. Because the thing that I find consistent with white extremists, I'm not talking about white people, I'm talking about white extremists or extremists in general, because they all don't got to be white. I'm going to take these off. Is that when they get upset and when they're not satisfied with themselves, they take it out on black people. It doesn't matter what it is. And just watch closely. Just keep watching closely. Like, let's watch this. Let me talk about this for a minute. Now, some of y'all might have seen it on the news where, first of all, we supposed to be in some type of peace agreement. I don't know how we can do both things at one time. I know how we can. It's election time. That's how we can. Election is coming up, so the lies are definitely being put out there. But how can we be about to sign some type of peace agreement and they trying to assassinate the president at the same time? I mean, that don't mix, but hey, it is what it is. But anyway, if Iran would have assassinated Donald Trump, guess who they would have took their anger out on? It wouldn't have been Iran. It would be black people. It would be black people. That's what I'm saying. Whatever they get upset about, we're the person to take their anger out on in most cases. In most cases. Not in all cases. Because some of them be puzzling me sometimes. Sometimes they go in on their own. But to be honest, a lot of times those don't really be extremists that be going in on their own. They just be regular old white folks that are fed up with America. The pressures of America is really bearing down on them. And they just go shoot stuff up. But anyway, Cincinnati, Ohio. More than half the black community driven out by white mobs. Not surprising. And we got a lot of these too. So we're gonna have to kind of move through these. I guess you can see that number up there. We got 85 of them. You see what I'm saying? We got 85, and this is one of 85. So I'm gonna just start spitting them out because I'm not trying to be here all day. I ain't even ate breakfast or nothing like that. Uh, and again, man, I was supposed to do this last night, but I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm real discouraged. I'm real discouraged. It has nothing to do with views. It has nothing to do with monetization. I was doing some research, as I always do. And sometimes it's easy to look over history, especially the way that they got it. And to be honest, it's nothing that I haven't said before. But in these times, these dates that I'm talking about, our ancestors had less resources, less support, less financial means. But that didn't stop them. None of that stopped them. They were producers. That's the thing they knew how to do was produce. They produced this country. They produced places for themselves. They produced businesses. And they done it all by working together. I try not to talk about starting Black Wall Street or co-ops. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I try not to even talk about them no more. I try not to talk about co-ops. I try not to talk about Black Wall Street. And when I do, I'm not asking for nobody to join in and let's bond together and let's do this because that's where I see the problem. That's where I see the problem. I see us new age black folks as Michael Jordan before he utilized the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan, when he was out there breaking records, remember he scored 63 points in one game and lost. He lost. He lost. But not really. What really happened was his team lost because it didn't make him any less desirable. It made him more desirable. It didn't make nobody say that he wasn't great. It defined that he was great. It defined that he was a hell of a person. But his team went through it. His team shared the blame for losing. Some of them got cut. But he wouldn't pass that ball. He wouldn't utilize his team. And who was he playing? The Celtics? I'm not a sports fan, but I believe it was the Celtics. See, the thing about it is, Bird wasn't scoring all the points. They was moving that, but that's how they won, by playing a team sport. And I don't want to get too much into it because we got a long list to get through. But they was playing a team sport, and because they was playing a team sport with actually a worse team, when you stack player against player, actually a worse team, they won the championship. They was able to win that championship by working together. What the Boston Celtics was a co-op. That's what they were, whether you want to define it that way or not. But they was a true co-op with every player being vested into the team. Every player understanding that they had a part to do. And understanding that if they done that part, that they would reap the reward. That it would benefit them all. And they would be a better team. And they understood they could not win alone. That's what they understand. They could not win alone. And as soon as Jordan found that out, because that's what I see. I'm gonna tell you, this is the analogy I see. And I'm just gonna, no offense to anybody, but I'm gonna use Asians as a reference since we have the Asian boycott going on. I'm gonna use that as a reference. They're the Celtics. Now I understand that they get some loans that we couldn't get, but in some cases they didn't get any loans. In some cases they pooled their money together. And they didn't do nothing new because you know where they got that mentality from, you know where they got that idea from, that format from these people right here on this map. These people that built all these towns, that pooled their money together, that worked together for a common cause. That's where they got the idea from. Our ancestors were not Michael Jordan. Our ancestors were the Chicago Bulls on steroids. That's what our ancestors were. So, and that goes for a lot of communities, because I got some stories to tell, but I'm not going to hold it up in this live. But I got some stories to tell because I don't know. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm gonna get back to this map, but that's basically what I've seen. I've seen our trajectory go up, civil rights movement, it plateaued, and then it went down. It seemed like the civil rights movement, we started being separate. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, but it's just so tantalizing. I seen us start being separate. We start having a desire. See, the thing about our ancestors, what they had, the desire they had is they had a desire to work with one another. And then we had the civil rights and desegregation, and then it became this desire. The civil rights movement was a desire to have what white people had. Stop being a desire to have what we have and to build what we can build, but it became a desire to eat in their restaurant, a desire to go to their schools, a desire to ride their bus, a desire to shop at their store, a desire to wear their clothes. And when we were having all of that desire for their things, we abandoned our ancestors, the stores that they had built, the bus system that they had built, the stores that they had built, the grocery stores, the convenience stores that they had built, the schools that they had built. Look, we barely got any black people going to HBCU. We started to abandon our things because we had the desire for their things, for the Gucci and stuff. What is Alenciago? We start having their desire, and we still got it. But let me get back to the list before I get into it, because I'll be on that, and this is just too much because we got 85, we got 84 more devastations to go through. Cincinnati, Ohio, 1829. Providence, Rhode Island, 1831. Fort Mount, Ohio, 1831. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1842. New York City, New York, 1863. Memphis, Tennessee, 1866. New Orleans, Louisiana, 1866, same year. Norfolk, Virginia, 1866, same year, 3 in 1 year. Pulaski, Tennessee, 1868. Camilla, Georgia, 1868. Opelousas, Louisiana, 1868, same year. Saint Bernard Parish, Louisiana, 1868, same year. Eutaw, Alabama, 1870. And just in case you don't know what I'm showing places that they struck, places that we have built. The places that were green are the ones that we had built. These red ones laying on top of them are places that they came behind us and disrupted. So when they say you need to pick yourself up by your bootstrap, first of all, that's an impossible feat. I can already tell you a black person did not make that saying up. I'd like to see somebody pick themselves up by the bootstrap, but I can get the gist of what they're saying. But the thing is, we wasn't given bootstraps. Let's just say if everybody else was given bootstraps, actually had a bootstrap to pick themselves up with, our ancestors wasn't given that bootstrap. Our ancestors did not have that bootstrap. What we had to do was we had to go find material, needle, thread, and material that we had to sew together. And it probably wasn't as simple as that. Like we probably had to go hunt an animal. Kill that animal. Uh, refine its skin or whatever you do, to make leather. Get the plant, the cotton or whatever it is to take to make that thread. To find some way to forge a needle and then sew us a bootstrap. You see, we didn't have the bootstrap to pick ourselves up with. So we had to do a whole bunch of stuff just to create the bootstrap that you're talking about picking ourselves up with. And then we did. We did more than picked ourselves up. We levitated, we floated, we shot to the moon, and they shot us down. Let's keep going. Lawrence, South Carolina, 1870. Meridian, Mississippi, 1871. Colfax, Louisiana, 1873. Cruciata, Louisiana, 1874. And see, I want you guys to realize too, like I told you, it was 1,200 places in total. Now, just to show you, first of all, you can tell by some of these names that I'm calling out because you notice, like back on the destruction side, some of these aren't the same cities. They're the same states, but they're not the same cities that you heard before. But it was just the way that I done the illustration. And I wanted to add more names. I wanted to add more names instead of repeating the same cities, like saying, okay, Greenwood, we built it, Greenwood, they destroyed it. In some cases, I use a different city in the same state. But of course, we know Greenwood got destroyed. But I'm also saying that because one thing you didn't hear, and I don't know if you know, but East St. Louis, it's a reason why it's deserted like that. It's a reason why it's declined like that because it was a Black Wall Street. It was a Black Wall Street itself, and that's why the population is so 90. What is it? 93% black. That's why it's like that, and why 80% of the population had vanished because it's one of these red marks. Okay, carry on. Vicksburg, Mississippi. Ufalo, Alabama, 1874. Clinton, Mississippi, 1875. I need something to wet my whistle with. I mean, there's so many places. Clinton, Mississippi, 1875. Hamburg, South Carolina, 1876. Ellington, South Carolina, 1876, same year. Salina, Tennessee, 1878. Danville, Virginia, 1883. Uh, Comanche or Comanche, I'm not sure which one it is. Comanche County, Tennessee, 1886. I don't know how to say that. Fibadu, Louisiana. Let me know if I said it right. Perigold, Arkansas, 1888. LaFlore, LaFlore County, Mississippi, 1889. Lexington, Oklahoma, 1892. Blackwell, Oklahoma, 1893. Monette, Mississippi, 1894. Linton, Indiana, 1896. Elwood, Indiana, 1897. Phoenix, South Carolina, 1898. Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898. A thriving black community and its elected government overthrown by coup. That was the first coup. That was the first insurrection. Successful. The first and only successful insurrection in the United States. And they were black elected officials. Lake City, South Carolina, 1898. Panna, Illinois, 1889. Black miners driven out in a gun battle. Let me just read a couple of them. Carterville, Illinois, 1889. New Orleans, Louisiana, 1900. Day, uh, Days of Mob Violence, the Robert Charles Riot. Mena, Arkansas, 1901. Most of the black population left. Pierce City, Missouri, 1901. The entire black population driven out for good. Decatur, Indiana, 1902. A mob forced the black residents out. It's like a theme song. Like a theme song. I'm telling you, and that's one thing I was thinking. See, because that's what I don't think y'all ready for. I'm not gonna talk too much about this new Black Wall Street, but I think that's what we ain't ready for. I think we're scared to build something because we know we got to defend it. And see, the thing about it is they wasn't scared, and that's what I'm saying. They had so fewer means. They didn't have the ability to get weapons like that. They didn't have money to buy ammunition like that. And no disrespect, but some of them wasn't educated like that. Like a lot of people that did these accomplishments could not read or write. A lot of people that had these successes could not read or write. And today we have so many resources. So I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna tell you a little something. I'm gonna tell you bits and pieces. See, because I've seen it in my own blood now. For you who have been following for a while, you understand that my grandmother and mother were sharecroppers. Oh, well, Uh, my grandparents owned their house. I'm not talking about a mortgage. They went from sharecroppers to owning their house, and their house still stands to this day. It's not. Don't. I'm not talking about like a slave quarters or nothing like that. I'm talking about a house. It's not a huge house, but it's not a shack. It's not in a bad neighborhood. In fact, it it's in a predominantly black neighborhood in a predominantly racist town. Uh, and they also were entrepreneurs. My grandmother had a convenience store, and I went to stay with her for a short period of time, probably when I was about 6 or 7. See, because I didn't know she had a convenience store. I didn't even know that. Uh, the majority of my brothers and sisters did not know that she had a convenience store because in our lifetime she didn't, because she had that convenience store in that time when we lost our desire for black things and when we gained a desire for, let's just use the word American things. When we wanted to go to the Woolworth and we wanted the white pie and the white ice the white schools, the white hospitals. My grandmother was a victim of that. That's why she didn't have a store in my time, because black people stopped coming to her store. And the lady store, Miss Burke, down the street. They had named the street after Miss Burke. Uh, that's how prevalent she was. Uh, and Miss Burke's store it stayed around for a while. Now her store was around in my lifetime. We used to go down there and we used to get, now don't get it twisted because it's gonna sound like I was born back in the like the 1800s when I say we used to go down there and get penny candy, penny cookies, but that's basically the way it was. One penny got you one cookie. They wasn't nothing fancy. Uh, but you know, a kid don't care what kind of cookie it is. They wasn't homemade neither. They was like, I don't know. It seemed like a pack you probably could buy. Yeah, I think it might have been like a butter cookie or something. I don't know, but it wasn't like a fabulous cookie like chocolate chip or something like that. It was just like, something that you could buy in a big pack, and it probably had 500 cookies in there. I don't know, 200 cookies, and she would sell them for a penny a cookie, and the same with the candy, the penny candy. And I can remember that when I was like 6 or 7, and then it shut down for a while. And I believe her grandson, right? Because her store, that's why her store survived so long. It was actually built onto her house. Uh, and decades later, her son, who I knew, her son, he turned it into like a clothing store, but it was kind of like you definitely ain't gonna get rich. It didn't really have no hours of operation. You know, I'm you probably got to get a sense. The son's nickname was Butt. That was his name. It wasn't because he had like a big booty or nothing. I don't know why his name was Butt, to be honest, but his name was Butt. And pretty much you would just catch him on the street. And you'd be like, hey, Butt, man, you got some, whatever you're looking at, man, you got some shoes, or, you got some hats, or whatever the case may be that you wanted. He's like, oh, yeah, man, I got them at the store. Then y'all will go to his store and he'll get them for you. It was that kind of store. Uh, but anyway, yeah, when I was 6, like I say, I was staying with my grandparents for a while, and we didn't know she had a store, but she had this shed. She had this shed out there in the yard, and we could get that door cracked about this much. We could get that door cracked about 2 or 3 inches. And at that time, as a little kid, that's enough to get your hand in there. Uh, and we could crack that door and we see like the cash register and shelves, and there was still some product in there. Like it was still like some candy and stuff, like some hard candy. And we realized what was in there because every now and then our grandmother would get us some candy, and that's what she'd do. We'd see her grab the keys and she'll stroll out there to that shed and she'll unlock that shed because it was like she didn't want us to know where she was getting it from. But this was good stuff, good candy. Back in those days, like that candy, it probably wasn't a such thing as preservatives at that time. But this was just like good old school fashioned candy. I'm not gonna say good, but kids gonna eat anything. It was like peppermints and stuff, you know. Uh, but she'd go out there and get some candy out the shed, and she'll sneak in there and she'll get that candy. She'll come give us some candy every now and then. But we found it, and we found out we can get that door cracked about 3 inches, big enough for me. It was like I was the only sibling that was small enough to get my arm in there and reach around and grab some stuff until it got too far to reach. But she was a victim. But let me carry on. Yeah, she was a victim of us having desire for other people's things, like we still do to this very day. We still got a desire for other people's things, and that makes it hard for us to become entrepreneurs. Um, in many cases, like just say like authentically black. I don't know if y'all know that brand. It's very quality stuff. And I'm gonna be straight up with it. I think some of it got a hell of a price tag on it. Like, I mean, you gonna pay some high dollar price tags. I mean, you gonna be like, man, I should have got some Balenciaga. I mean, for the price I paid for this. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at a hat one time, and I think the hat was like $60. No disrespect, but I think it was like $60, and then it was like $25 to ship, and then it was like a 30-day wait. I mean, and I was like, the combination of that is kind of rough. They end up paying 80 something dollars and then $90 for a head, and then it's gonna take 30 days to get the head. Uh, but it's hard. It is hard because, and I can understand that price tag because what we see now is convenience, and the thing about it too, we have a desire for other people. I mean, if we be honest, name the 10 most famous brands you rock, and I guarantee you, in many cases, and it's the same with me. So I don't think I'm pointing the finger. It's the same with me. What do I got on black right now? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Uh, so don't think I'm pointing the finger. But it's the way that we have assimilated, and I'm gonna tell you another way we have too when we get by, because we have assimilated in many ways. I mean, to me, we are colonizers. To me, we are colonizers with black skin, uh, and that's what we're waiting on. I guess we're waiting on for somebody else to build a Black Wall Street so we can take it over. Uh, but let me carry on. Decatur, Indiana, 1902. Joplin, Missouri, 1903. Black residents driven out after a lynching. Uh, and I hate to keep pausing though. Dang, I can't even think of the name of the book now. I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me later. But lynchings are back. I can tell you that lynchings are back. It's been like over 100 this year. I mean, lynchings. Let me rephrase that. I'm not going to say it's been over 100. Hangings, hangings. It's been a lot of hangings this year and the year before, and in the last 10 years, it's been a lot of hangings, and I'm saying that because of misinformation. Even though, as a black person, I understand that people of color unalive themselves, but I don't think they unalive themselves by hanging. I mean, You can argue me down all you want to, but I would say that is not our method of unaliving ourselves, especially if we found unalive and our legs are broke. I mean, I mean, it doesn't make sense. We found hanging and our legs are broke. I mean, some of it just don't even make sense, even though it is always and most commonly found out ruled to be a self-inflicting, unsuspicious, all of the word salad that they like to use. That's the way that it is normally presented. And even in this case that I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of, Nolan Wales, I can't say what happened. Now, if he would have came back hanging, I would have told you. It'd just be like, hey, I'll tell you, this what happened to him. But I really can't tell you because it could be a possibility that he actually drowned. That's a possibility. But I think it's also Mississippi, the state with the most. I'm not sure what I can say and what I can't say, so I'm gonna just be quiet. But the state with the most of them. He in the right state to be suspicious. I'll tell you that. I'll put it that way. Sour Lake, Texas, 1903. Statesboro, Georgia, 1904. And this is a shame to actually have a list this big, and I'm only halfway through. Harrison, Arkansas, 1905 and 1909. Two riots expelled the black community, and it never returned. Atlanta, Georgia, 1906. Uh, Mobs tore through black business districts. I mean, just imagine if all of that was here. Still, just imagine. But and not and this is just like one figment. This is like one aspect out of. This is probably one travesty, one type of travesty, one method of tearing us down out of probably 300 methods. This is just one method out of 300 different methods at least. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty sure it's more than 300 other methods that they use to tear us down. Uh, as a whole, I'm not talking about as individuals. I'm talking about as a whole, like redlining and all that type of stuff. As a whole, no VA loans and, banks not lending to us and et cetera, et cetera. Springfield, Ohio, 1906. Springfield, Missouri, 1906. Carter, Arkansas, 1906. 1906. Birmingham, Kentucky, 1908. Springfield, Illinois, 1908. Black homes and businesses burned. The shame that founded the NAACP, and I'm just gonna leave it. Anna, Illinois, 1909. Slocum, Slocum, that's it. Slocum, Texas, 1910. Forsyth County, Georgia, 1912. East St. Louis, Illinois. And I just realized I'm not even showing y'all the places. I'm gonna shrink this map a little bit. I thought y'all could see. I'm gonna shrink the map a little bit so y'all can see the names of the places. Over here. I don't want the map to be too small. And let me do something here. Get rid of some of this stuff out the way. I don't know, I thought you could, but East St. Louis, black neighborhoods, torched, hundreds killed or driven out. So now you know why it ain't nobody there. Now you know why I was calling it the Black Wall Street. Now you know why I was saying it was a good place to start. But I think at the same time, I think that that's what we don't want to do. Is we don't want to defend where we live. I can tell you one thing: we stand a better chance if we are defending something together than defending something all scattered out. Uh, but carry on. Houston, Texas, 1917. Chester, Pennsylvania, 1918. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1918. Irwin, Tennessee, 1918. Charleston, South Carolina, 1919. And just can you just imagine? I mean, it's just like going on all year round. Like, bam, it's happening one place. And as soon as that over, bam, it's happening again somewhere else. And then soon as it's happening, boom, it's happening again. I mean, it's just like back to back to back to back to back. I mean, like they won't even, give it time for, they won't even give time for the fire to burn out before they working on the next place. Uh, Longview, Texas, 1919. They be have the nerve to defend themselves. But you see why they don't want this stuff in school system? I mean, I think it's easy to see why they don't want to teach history in the school system. Because you literally can have a whole year. I mean, to be honest, you could have a whole 4 years. You could take a whole college course. To be honest, you can take from kindergarten to graduating college and not be able to go through all of these. Not actually be able to learn the details and talk about all of these. I mean, this is a whole entire lifetime curriculum. And that's why they don't want this stuff in school. Longview, Texas, 1919. Washington, D.C., 1919. Chicago, Illinois, 1919. You see what I'm saying? Back to back to back to back. I mean, it's like let the smoke go out. 1919. Knoxville, Tennessee, 1919. Woo! How many is that? 5 in a row? Oklahoma, Nebraska, 1919. They was mad about something. Can you believe it again? What is this? Number 6, Elaine, Arkansas, 1919. Let me go back and count. I'm gonna just back up a minute. 3, 4, uh-oh, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 year. And again, 8 in 1 year. Bogalusa, Louisiana, 8 in 1 year. This is like a game show almost. Will it be 1919 again? 1919. I'm telling you what was going on. I got to go and look and see what was happening in 1919. 9 places in one year. 1919. Corbin, Kentucky. I think they just ran out of time. I think they was busy that whole entire. They had to be busy the entire year of just destruction. The whole year. Uh, I don't know how to say that. Okie, Okie or Osi, Okie. I'm gonna say Okie, Florida. 1920. Tulsa, Greenwood, Oklahoma. Okay, we know about that. 1921. But you see, it's 71. There was 70 places that they put their hands on before Tulsa. Tulsa number 71. And remember, I did not name all other places. It's too much. You see how much time? I don't even know how long I've been here. Let me keep going. J. Florida, 1922. 175 black residents fled the town. Uh, Perry, Florida, 1922. A black community terrorized and burned. A self-sufficient black town wiped off the map. I didn't even read the year. 1923. Blandford, Indiana, 1923. A Klan-led expulsion. Uh, Catcher, Arkansas, 1923. Manhattan Beach, California, 1924. Detroit, Michigan, 1943. Beaumont, Texas, 1943. Columbia, Tennessee, 1946. Somebody tell me what happened in 1919. Moores Ford, Georgia, 1946. Groveland, Florida, 1949. Cicero, Illinois, 1951. Vienna, Illinois, 1954. Or is that Vienna? Sheridan, Arkansas, 1954. And we finally got to the end of that list. We finally got to the end of that list, which is not really the end. That's the thing. And now you see these few places that's remaining. Guess what? Would you be surprised if I told you not really? It's just I didn't list all the places. I didn't even remember saying California, but yeah, I see it over there lit up. So, uh, yeah, not really. Uh, in reality, this whole map is bloody. And the one thing that I want you to note about the blank spaces that are left, if you know the geographic pretty well, and if you know about the Indians pretty well, you will know that these were Indian territories. So we already know that it was devastation that took place to our Indian brothers and sisters. That these places that are left nude, they're not really nude. And to be honest, I was gonna put them on there to include them, but it was just so many places. The truth is, if I would have kept going with the list with just us, we would have covered the whole map. But for some of those areas, we wouldn't have reached because they were Indian territories and the Indians were going through it. Let's just put it that way. The Indians was getting a taste uh, the colonizers. So that's that. But I got another map to show you because I'm not going to go through. I come up with a number of 24. I'll come up with the number of 24 states on this next map that I'm going to show you. And the reason why I come up with number 24 is because if you actually would have counted the states that I included, they were 24 states. So I created this next map, this map here. And of course, it is the 24 poorest states. And the reason why I wanted to do the 24 poorest states is of course, just to cover myself. This is a theory. I'm not saying it's fact. This is a theory that also W.E.B. Du Bois felt like this as well. He felt like this. And he the one that coined that phrase, the wages of whiteness. But it's actually, if I'm correct, it's a white guy that actually wrote a book that's called The Wages of Whiteness. But he was taken from W.B. Du Bois. And basically what he was saying was, let's see, I may have exactly what he was saying somewhere. I don't. But basically what his theory was is that white extremists will harm themselves. They will harm themselves. They will hurt themselves just to hurt black folks. I mean, that's why we don't have universal health care. It's not that we can't have it. It's because we would get it as well. That's why we don't got universal health care. They want it. It will benefit them more than it would benefit us, but they don't want us to have it. So they was like, God damn it, we'll do without it just so they won't get it. We don't want them to have nothing. So anyway, this next map, I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna play this next map. I'm just gonna play it and let it. Oh, I gotta actually pull it up. Gotta pull up the controls for it. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm gonna shrink this map off the top. Put it over there. And of course, you can see the green is what we built, the red is what they burned. And I want you to see how it lines up with the 24 poorest states. Because they'll destroy their whole state. They'll destroy their whole economic system. Will destroy what benefits them because it benefits us. So we'll let it play out. Play button. We'll let it play out. Mississippi, New Mexico, West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Alabama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Washington, D.C., Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, New York, Missouri, Ohio, Michigan, Nevada, Indiana, South Dakota. 19 of the 24 pourers ringed in red. So 19 of the 24 ringed in red, and a lot of the other ones that run in red, run that wasn't in red, are Indian territories where they're dealing with their own issues with the colonizer. That's that has the same attitude or similar attitude towards them as they do with us. Uh, so it's really sad, man, and it's very discouraging. It's very discouraging. But I also want to highlight one other thing because there's a myth that this all this hatred and racism is taking place down south. Look up north. Look up north. Let me. I'm gonna just step the map back, just in case you saying, "Well, we can't tell," cause look up north. Look up north. We tried running up north because we were under that same illusion. Let me rephrase that. Our ancestors were under that same illusion that if we went there, that we would get away from the hatred. But look up north so we can kill that myth because it's nothing but a myth. It's nothing but a myth. So that's pretty much the end of it. I don't know how long I've been on here, but I'm pretty sure I done been on here long enough. Let me take a gander. Let me look and see how long I've been. Cause I was real, to be honest, I was real. I didn't really want to. I was real discouraged, to be honest. I'm real discouraged. I'm discouraged that we won't see any more Black Wall Streets in our lifetime. Um, and I am discouraged that we have almost fully assimilated into our colonizers with all of the hate. Trust me, look, I know that some immigrants, well, I would really say just about all come with a preconceived notion about black people. But I think some are able to see reality once they get here because they become black. Once they get here, they become black as well. And when a white extremist is ready to demonstrate his hate He ain't asking nobody what their last name is or let me see your ID in some cases. Because in some cases it is exactly that, but they ain't looking for your ID to determine whether they're going to harm you or not. That's just part of their job. That's the way that they can get you. But they ain't looking for that. And yeah, we have different beliefs in many cases. We have different ideals in many cases, and we vote for different people in many cases. But we got one thing that is consistent is we got the same person hate us. Let's put it this way: the same person hate us. That's what we got in common. I don't know who said it, but someone said the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So who's that? American Indian man. What is up? Long time no see. And thank you for joining in. Yeah, I know Chicago is. And people try to act like up north or some type of sanctuary. I tell you. I went up one, I'm gonna tell you this. The most fear, it wasn't in Chicago, but I done been to Chicago. Uh, but the most fearful I've ever been for my life is I was in Brooklyn, New York, if I'm correct. I believe it was. I went up there to pick up some merchandise. Let me rephrase that because some people may get the wrong idea. I went up there to, this is when I was manufacturing food trucks. I got the bright idea to try to cut back on shipment costs. So I would actually go pick. I This was like my first time going, not to New York. I've been to New York several times. It's my first time going to pick up the material, and I made a mistake and ran a light. I really didn't run it. What happens is I went out, and the traffic pattern was weird for me, and I stopped. But then I was so far out in the road that I was congesting the traffic. So I went on and I couldn't back up, so I just went on through. And there was a cop that seen exactly what I did and know that it was no ill intent. He seen it. It was an accident. Of course, he knew I was from North Carolina. I was in a business vehicle with business branding on it. I mean, it was all type of things on there that should have gave him some type of reason to be understanding. He was so aggressive that once I left out of there, I said I would never go back. I said I would never go back to New York again. And I kept my word for the longest. I kept my word for a very long time. I would not go back. And there was a point recently, not really that long ago, where I started driving trucks for myself. And I went like 18, 19 months with refusing to go not just to New York, but even through New York. I refused to do it. And finally, the this was like right after COVID, so it wasn't that long ago. It was right after COVID. But trucking rates started to drop tremendously, and the demand for truckloads started to drop. Yeah, I bet you did get it beat many times. I mean, cause that's what I felt like was about to happen to me. I was like, dang, this man is just looking to to whoop my ass. He just looking to beat the shit out of me. And I tried to put the country roll on him. I tried to play I tried to do everything to discourage him. And then, finally I was like, okay, I'm gonna play like I'm the dumb country bunchkin. I'm gonna play dumb like I don't know. I'm from a little small city and I don't know no better. I tried to do everything to de-escalate, and it worked, but it barely worked. I mean, because I tell you, man, I downplayed it like I don't know what, because I was like, this guy, I think he really gonna kill me. I was like, I really think that he is gonna try to kill me. Uh, and I was like, over a simple mistake. And with everything that's displayed in front of him, it's like he's really trying to kill me. He's really trying to get me to just act normal. I mean, he wasn't, he was just trying to get me just to act normal so he could kill me. You know what I'm saying? I had to act less than normal. I had to act like I was retarded damn near. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think to do. I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna take this L. I'm gonna play dumb. I'm gonna play country. I'm gonna play like I don't know what's going on. I was like, because I tried like when he first stepped to me, I tried to talk to him business like and intelligent like, and he wasn't hearing that. He was just ready, and he kept trying to pin me and get me to admit to something, and then I was like, well, sir, I just really don't even want to say nothing. I mean, if that's okay, I just really don't want to say nothing. Then he was getting aggressive about that, so I was like, okay, well then, what you want me to say? What you want me to say, sir? Sir? I was like, sir, what can I say? What can I do for you, sir? I had to switch it up on him. I was like, dang, this guy's off the chain. I was like, dang, this guy really trying to catch a body. Yeah, so I had to, switch it up on him, man. And I got up out of there, man. And I was like, I'm never going back. Uh, and I didn't for a long time, but when I went in them trucks, I made sure that I was in and out. Uh, and he was always in my mind every single time. He was always not just him, just the law enforcement in general was always. I was always terrified going through that. I was like, I just never seen a cop so anxious to kill somebody. And to be honest, I've had cops, and this is what I'm saying. I've never had a cop more anxious. And I can name at least 3 situations where cops told me that they were going to kill me. But he was worse than them. You see what I'm saying? He was worse than they were. He was worse than they were, man. I swear, I didn't think I was gonna get out of there alive, man. Yeah, so man, I had to dumb it down. I had to dumb it down like I didn't know what. Uh, but yeah, man, it's terrible. Uh, uh, just the world in general, it's terrible. And to be honest, I'm gonna tell you that's why I was on the Black Wall Street. I wanted the place because to me, I'm a person that can stay secluded. And I was like, man, if we created the Black Wall Street, I would never step outside of it. I would never step outside of it. Yeah. I can't remember the guy they done like that. I'm not sure if it was New York or not, but it was one of the. I don't want to get his name wrong, but the guy passed away, and everybody started trying to. I forgot they got a certain name for that when they drive you like that. I can't think what the name of it is, but they done this guy like that, and the guy didn't make it. But I was trying to. I used to talk about it back in the days, like when it first happened, because it showed me how media brainwashed everybody. Because what happened to him in the back of the paddy wagon was not what got him media attention. What got him media attention was somebody, not trying to put race into it, but I'm just telling how it is. It was two white officers that had drugged him from behind a building and he couldn't even walk. That's what got the media attention. It's because people was like, look what the cops done to him. But those two cops got away. They completely escaped it. Somehow all of the energy went to the minorities, because I want to say it was like maybe a total of 9 people. Maybe it wasn't that many, but it was the people that drove the paddy wagon, the people at the jailhouse. They ended up catching the rough end of it. And I kept telling everybody that's not even what got him the media attention. He couldn't even walk to get in the paddy wagon. He couldn't even step up to get into the paddy wagon. He was already messed up before he even got into the paddy wagon. And now they trying to blame everything on the minority drivers of the paddy wagon and the people at the jailhouse, and they completely forgot about the two guys. The media twisted it that bad that everybody forgot about how the media coverage first, how the attention first came to the guy. Of course, the news media is 100% part of it. They are the media is the media is why the immigrants come with the preconceived notion. That's why the media already, I mean, when the immigrants come, they already think that we are, black Americans are criminals. And some of them don't want to hang around us and don't want to vote like us and don't want nothing to do with us. It is 100% because of media perception. There's a movie called Nighthawk, if I'm correct. I think it explained it without even trying to explain it. But it's kind of like an older movie. It's a pretty good movie. It's not like a real old movie. Cause when I say old movie, y'all may think black and white. One, I don't even look at black and white movies, first of all. But I'm talking about old movie. It might have been like in the 90s, like the late 90s or the early 2000s. But I think it's called Nighthawk or Night Watch. It's one of them, but it's about a psychopath basically that started recording news footage. He was like a news footage freelancer, and he was like seeing all these gruesome crime scenes. His thing was to get there first, to get the footage first. Like he would even, in some cases, he would like there'd be a crime that been committed. He wouldn't like even report it to the police. He'll just go in there and film it and then like report it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but the news told them they only wanted a certain type of footage. They didn't want footage. that would show white people in a bad light. They wanted footage that would show black people in a bad light. And this is not even what the movie was about. The movie wasn't about showing the media. The movie was about him and his crazy ass. But they were trying to keep it realistic as possible at the same time. They wasn't trying to make it a fiction. They were trying to base it off of real life. And they revealed that jewel in that movie, that the media, they want to magnify people of color and the things that they do, and they don't even want anything that white people may do. I mean, that's usually when I'm looking at the news. That's normally like when they say something horrific. The way that I normally tell whether a black person or a white person did it is by who they show. Like if they show some horrific crime and they don't show no image of the person, I was like, oh, that must have been a white person. White person must have done that because they ain't showing no image. Uh, because what I noticed, even if they don't have an image of a black person or a person of color, when it's time to report the news, they'll find a black person in the crowd and ask them about it. They'll go to that black person and be like, can you believe this happened in your neighborhood? So you automatically can assess that the person was black. But yeah, like when a white person do it, first of all, I can tell by the way they present the story because the story, you almost be like, well, like you almost are empathizing with the criminal because they ain't calling the person a criminal. Like when they don't call them a criminal, and when they start talking about they not sure what happened. I seen one the other day where I can't remember what it was, but they wouldn't say what happened. How are you going to report the news and you won't say what happened? And I was like, yeah, that's a white person. You won't say what you saying something happened, but you won't call what happened bad, and then you won't say the name of the person that did it. I mean, is that even news? Yeah. Yeah, I know they tell them all kind of stuff whenever they going through the processing. Yeah, I definitely believe that wholeheartedly, 100%. I mean, it's facts. I mean, to be honest, it's facts, and they come over here with that preconceived notion. Uh, but I still feel we got things in common. I mean, I think they may have one notion. Some of them gonna keep the notion no matter what. But I think there's a lot of them come over here and they get the experience. I was looking at this one guy basically. This was on YouTube. One guy was at his job and went out to his car, and he was an immigrant, and he had his car keys in his hand and was looking for something in his car, and then started going back to the work, and somebody called the police on him saying that he was trying to break in somebody's car. And it was like he was acting like he had the keys. He had the keys in his hand, but I think he was just doing that because other people was around. I mean, and of course the police came and assaulted the crap out of him because the guy was trying to say, "Why are you stopping me? I don't want to show you my ID because it's my right not to show you an ID if I haven't committed a crime and I'm not suspected of committing a crime." They didn't go for that. They beat the mess out of him. But I was like, now you know what it is. You know, that's what I was saying about it. Now he know how it is. Like if he did believe one thing, I bet you he believes something different now. So I think a lot of them, unfortunately, it, that anybody go through that experience, but some of them do. I mean, that's just a good portion of them are going to go through it, especially the ones with darker skin, the ones that look like Black Americans. Uh, they're going to catch a beat down until. I mean, it's just ridiculous of how many times and how many encounters I've had with the police. But that's one thing I can tell you about Durham, North Carolina. I'm not scared of the police here. They're all black. I made a video one time where I didn't allude to it. I said that I think that we should have segregated policing. And I don't know. I had a couple racists talk crap. I don't know why. Why wouldn't you want us to have segregated policing? I mean, I don't know. Why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want white police officers dealing with white people? Uh, but I never have a problem about it. I never have a problem. I mean, I get pulled over occasionally, and sometimes for good reasons, like speeding or something. I got pulled over one morning because I wasn't really speeding, but I like squealed off from a traffic stop. I was going to work, but it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. It was up there by UNCCU. Uh, and I was just trying to get to work, and I don't know. I was behind this. That's what it was. I was behind this slow pickup truck, man. I was trying to get around them, and I couldn't get around them. And it was like soon as the light changed, I just peeled off, you know, to shoot past them, and you know, they came and pulled me over, but no fear, treated with respect. They every time I have engagement with them, which I do every day. First of all, let me tell you, I have engagement with them just about every single day, and it's not always in a negative way. Like, just say if I go to food line, they're inside the food line, and they always speak. They always speak. They always nice. They always polite. They ain't following me around the store or nothing. It's just like they just there. I mean, to make sure the place ain't gonna get robbed. To be honest, that's why they're there, to make sure the place ain't gonna get robbed, and that's what they're doing. They just there to make sure that the place. They ain't there for the shoplifting. They there to make sure the place ain't gonna get robbed. You know, that's what they're there for. Uh, but yeah, we engage all the time. That's what I mean, like on a daily basis. We engage all the time, and it's always respectful. I got nothing bad. I got nothing negative to say about them whatsoever. I think anytime that I got hit with the blue lights, it was definitely because of something. I say it was warranted. 99% of the times it was warranted. And maybe the one occasion or so that it wasn't warranted, it still was respectful. Um, you know, because I think one time I got pulled over because of someone else had done something in the area, but it was still peaceful and engaging. And I'm telling you, before I moved here, I lived in a predominantly white community. Man, I used to get pulled going into the community, out of the community, and none of them was pleasant. None of them was pleasant. It always felt like you just trying to be nosy, and like you just trying to be nosy, you just trying to mess with me. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell people. Yeah, we definitely got to be careful now, cause, and I think that was the whole plan from the get go. I think that is the only reason is they was sitting. First of all, they did that project 2025, and they had been writing that for years. They had been working on the project 2025, and I am confident that that was already part of the project 2025. That was part of the plan. Is to first we get people used to the deportation process. We'll start with some Hispanics and some people of that nature because most people that's not Hispanic aren't going to argue with that. We'll soften them up with that. We'll get them adjusted to that. And then we'll go for the Haitians. Because I'm not going to lie. Like I say, I understand I'm foundational Black American, but I think it was like 2021 when they had the Haitians coming across the border in Mexico and they came out there on the horseback and whips. I'm not going to lie, I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed with Black Americans because we were protesting for Hispanics. And I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I'm not against that. But I was disappointed with people that looked just like us and the way that that scenery looked. I know some people ain't going to like me to say this, but I still say that we got more in common than we don't got in common. And I still believe that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Uh, and I think it's each his own at the same day. I mean, at the same time. I mean, it's not like every immigrant is okay. It's kind of like on a one-on-one basis, and to me, it's that same way with Black Americans because Brandon Tatum, he foundational Black American. I wouldn't fuck with him. You got Charleston White, foundational American. I wouldn't fuck with him. I mean, to be honest, we got a lot of foundational Americans that I would not fuck with. I would not fool with them not one day out of my life. I think they don't do nothing but harm black people in general. And then, like I say, I made the mistake the other day of calling him an immigrant, but he's not an immigrant. Abram Traore, of course, he's not here in America. But that's like one of my favorite people. To me, he's like the African Malcolm X. Uh, I love what he did, and I like what a lot of people did in history, and a lot of people are misled, like Marcus Garvey. I mean, I understand he wasn't American, but this man had ships. That's what I don't think we understand. A lot of times we are miseducated about what actually took place. Man, he accomplished things that no black American had accomplished for economics. Like he was creating black economics for black folks. Uh, I mean, he had a ship that was literally bringing and exporting, bringing products from Africa to America from America to Africa. I mean, nobody else has ever done that. Nobody else has never done something so big and so powerful. I'm not gonna hit on that man because he's not foundational. And I think some of us was native to this land. To be honest, I don't think I was. I believe my ancestors came from Africa. I mean, I got some dark skinned people in my family. I mean, they blue black, purple black. Uh, and to be honest, I know. I mean, I know that that's where their lineage came from, even though they've been in America for centuries. Well, their bloodline runs through America for centuries. And I know at one point of time, I don't know. I don't see. I got an odd take on it. I got an odd take on it, and a lot of people probably wouldn't like my take, to be honest. But I have trouble swallowing that word American. I have trouble swallowing it. It's hard to be proud of that word. I can be proud of the word African more than I can be proud of the word American. This is the place that I'm from, and I'm not trying to bring any harm to it, and nor do I need to, because the harm is already here. We are terrorized by Americans, and we have been terrorized by Americans for centuries. Nobody has terrorized us more. Uh, exactly. And to me, I don't think a lot of people. First of all, even it depends on how far you go back. But I go all the way back to Pangea, and a lot of people don't even know what that is. A lot of people like, what in the world is Pangea? Uh, because I do understand African is not the original name, but I really see myself as a Pangean, but nobody knows what a Pangean is. Pangea was before people. You know what I'm saying? It was before people. Uh, and I was actually writing a book. I was actually writing a book that was called The Pangean Order. Uh, it's kind of like on the back burner, but a lot of people have no idea what that is and what it's about. But that's a good thing for y'all to chat GPT. Uh, Pangia. But yeah, I can't remember the name before that, but it was something. Yeah, because Africa was it was given that name after its colonizer. That's where that name came from. Uh, and that's good. I'm glad you do. Yeah, but a lot of people don't. That's why I don't even talk about it. Like I don't. It's certain things that I don't even talk about because don't nobody even know what the hell I'm talking about. Because I've been thinking about talking about it was even like before I was start talking about Black Wall Street because I use the names that people can connect with, and I know that people could connect with a Black Wall Street. People could connect with words like African American in Africa. Um, but then when you go back so far, I'm not gonna lie, I found a lot of Generation Z miseducated. I see them miseducated, and I know it's gonna sound ugly, but to me, I'm a realist. If you notice, a lot of times when I'm talking about our ancestors, I try not to say our, I try to say their. And it's not like I'm separating myself from them, but in a degree I am. Because they created all those towns. Like all those towns I was talking about, that's what they did. And I'm proud that they did that. But what have we done? See, that's the thing I don't like. I don't like boasting about somebody else's accomplishments. And I think that's what Generation Z do. Is boast around about somebody else's accomplishments. And I'm more about like, I mean, that's the way I've always been. I don't want to know what your mama did. I don't really want to know what your grandma did. I want to know what you did. What did you do? What are you doing? Because anybody can go back in history and find somebody that done something great in their bloodline. But sometimes it's hard to hold up an argument when you're talking about somebody else's accomplishments and you're using yourself. It's kind of like when you be talking about a football team. When you talk about, yeah, we beat y'all. How did you beat us and you ain't even on the football team? The football team beat the other football team. You're not on that team. You're not getting a paycheck. You didn't do anything. They did it. You didn't have no influence. Everything they did, they done with their own ability. So that's the kind of way I like looking at things. But I try to cater to the way other people visualize things too. But at the same time, I believe in giving people credit for the things that they do. And a lot of times I don't like to take their credit. I don't like to take their glory. I'm waiting on us to step up, to be honest. Because like I was saying, I've seen a great decline. I was talking about it earlier, but I've seen a great rise during their period, through our ancestors' period, and I really seen the change during the civil rights. I seen a decline. I didn't see us keep going up after the civil rights. I mean, I wasn't there, but you can look at the historical data that it was the decline after that. And that's why I'll say that we assimilated then. We stopped having a desire for black unity and started having a desire for uh integration, to go to white schools, to go to white stores, white restaurants, and so on and so on and so on. And nobody can deny that because an Asian boycott shouldn't have had to encourage us to buy black or to spend our money with black people. And to be honest, we still ain't doing it. We still ain't doing none of the ones. Some of us are not shopping Asian, but I was sitting at, I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot the other day, and I parked. It was two Asian places. It was a Asian restaurant and it was an Asian market. And I was just sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna see if I see any black people go in there. And I sat there for like 45 minutes. I seen about seven black people go in there. I was real disappointed. I didn't see none of them go in the Asian restaurant, But I seen like 7 go in the Asian market. I was like, I don't see no difference. I mean, and they went in there, they didn't even look guilty about it. It was just like, it's a normal, regular day in the neighborhood. But at the same time, I don't think that nothing, it should have took anything to get us to shop with our own. And I understand it is difficult, 'cause like I say, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same exact boat. I'm not shopping 100% black. I'm not. I mean, it's many a times I'm not shopping 1% black. And it's difficult to do because most of those businesses are gone. And then maybe that's the next one that I'll come back and do, is to show you all of the businesses that have gone, because that was when I'm talking about the decline. That's what happened. When I'm talking about my grandmother's store that she had, that's what happened to her. Miss Burke, that's what happened to her. Uh, this neighborhood, the big businesses have gone. They put a road through this neighborhood to break it up. It was a economic hub. Uh, to disrupt it. Uh, and it's drastic because this is a poor neighborhood. I mean, that is no other way to put it. When you come here, when you come down through here, you're in a poor neighborhood. It's not like a guess. You are. Uh, it's like I mean, what you would imagine, like just say like Tulsa, Oklahoma. After they done that, what do you imagine that the black side of town look like now? That's pretty much what my neighborhood looks like. And then the thing about it, the majority of people that live in the neighborhood don't even know they ain't a Black Wall Street. That's what I mean about Generation Z. Most of them, they have no idea that they're in a Black Wall Street. They are completely clueless. That was kind of the reason for this video, because everybody only acknowledges Tulsa as a Black Wall Street. And like I say, we got 2 right here in the Raleigh Durham, really 3, but we'll leave it at 2 right here in the Raleigh Durham area. And they're everywhere. That's the thing that people. I mean, if you see the map. Go back to the other map. You see the map, and there are remnants of them everywhere. Uh, there are remnants of them everywhere. And like I said, it was over 1,200. I only done what I do. I only done 38, 39 towns. That's all I did. I didn't do 1,200. I didn't do 1,200, and it's hard to do, but it's over 1,200. I mean, if you read the bottom, if you read that bottom line there, it tells you clear as day that, but you can read the big headlines. More than 1,200 black towns and settlements. I'm telling you, we was going to get it, and they done everything to derail. Uh, and they took the energy out of us. They took the energy out of us. Uh, but we got to get that energy back. Trust me. I mean, I understand, because there was many reasons why I shut down my food truck manufacturing business, but most of it was racism, because I had never seen racism on that scale. Like, it's one thing when you facing racism from individual people. Okay, that's to be expected. But when you start getting racism from city, state, and county officials, it knocks the wind out of you. And that's what happened to these places right here. That's what knocked the wind. I mean, that's what knocked the wind out of us. It's things like that when you having to fight your county, your city, your state, your country. That's how they got us. They didn't get us like one on one. They, and that's how they get us, man. And that's what made it so difficult for me. That's what made it so expensive for me. It made it so expensive. That's how they did it, was kept making it more and more and more expensive for me. And I had the proof that they were just targeting me. It's kind of like a long story, but one of my workers who was Turkish, he wasn't even American, but he looked white. I don't know no other way to put it, but he was Turkish. He duplicated my business and started his own. Did not have the same issues. That's what really discouraged me because I was like, this motherfucker ain't even American. He ain't even American, but he gets the American trade. It was a lot of stuff. They broke me down mentally. They broke me down mentally. Yeah, man. I mean, I literally was like teaching at like we got Wake Tech around here. I should teach classes at Wake Tech. Guess what they did? They let me go and got him to teach the class. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And he wasn't even good at it. That's the thing about it. I mean, besides teaching the class, he wasn't good at manufacturing trucks. He wasn't good at none of it. But he was able to excel quickly. Not even being an American, he was able to excel at it quickly and easily and without the roadblocks that I was always facing, because that's what it was. They just kept coming up with new stuff. I was like, God damn, I mean, y'all keep coming up with new stuff. Every time I turn around, it seems like every 3 months y'all got a new rule for me and me only. Because I knew all the other builders. I knew all the other manufacturers. It was several manufacturers. I knew them all. We all would talk. Uh, we knew each other. We were competitors, but we wasn't enemies. And that was a brother that was before me. It was an older guy. I was a little young at the time, but there was a gentleman that was older than me, and he went through the same thing that I went through, and he warned me about it. He warned me about it, and he told me about it. And he was like, "Man, that's why I just literally like I'll do like one a year now." He was like, "I just do it out the back of my yard." He was like, "Because they leave me alone. They don't know what I'm doing. They ain't in my business." And he was like, "I guarantee you, I make one just building that one a year than you make building 240." And I was like, "You're probably right with all the fees and fines and penalties and rules and regulations." Uh, I mean, it was just all type of stuff to the buildings I was leasing. I mean, every single landlord, it was the exact same. It's like cookie cutter. Let's hate on it. They fine when they think you ain't making no money, but when they see that you actually are making real money, they will come after you. I mean, you got everybody coming after you. You got your landlord because you leasing. You, and I had the issue with every landlord because the buildings had to keep getting bigger. That was my problem. The buildings had to keep getting bigger. I was growing. Uh, but the land, I mean, just everybody I dealt with. The thing about it is, it was seldom that it wasn't seldom. It was never. I never had to deal with someone on business level that looked like me. And they had some type of control or some type of influence on how productive your business was, how success. That's the problem was I wouldn't have gave a damn uh, if they didn't have that effect. You know, when I left that business, that's what I was saying. The only way that I would do it again is if I owned the business, if I owned the building. I would have to own the building right out. I don't even want a mortgage on it. I would have to own it. Uh, because yeah, it was everybody. It was the banks. I know I told y'all a story about me having like almost $80,000 in the bank, and they wouldn't give me a $5,000 loan. Uh, I can tell you nightmare after nightmare, but racism is real, and I knew it was real before I started doing that. But I thought, what's the word I'm looking for? I thought the government entities behaved different. I didn't think that I thought like we the government. We just keep everything by the books. Uh, but when I seen that they was in on it too, which technically the government do everything by the books. The problem is the people, the individuals that have those positions, they don't. And that was the problem. That was the problem. Was the individuals that had those positions inside the government. Uh, they did everything and they got to me mentally. Like it got to because I was like, it's not even nobody I can complain to. I was like, it's not even nobody I can complain to. It's not like I can't complain to the government that this is going on because they part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I done been on here a minute. Uh, I think I didn't say it enough. I probably didn't say it too much, to be honest. But I'm gonna try to come back because I do got some more stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about Michael Jordan, and probably not in the way that you think, but if you've seen the video, you already know how I'm talking about. How Michael Jordan was breaking all type of records as an individual, just like I was doing in the business by myself. Uh, but I wasn't winning the game. How Michael Jordan was out there scoring 63 points and losing the game. These other communities, they got teams that work together. They the Pistons and they the Celtics and who else was Jordan's rivals? I don't know. I can't think. I'm not a big sports fan, but they were beating Jordan because Jordan was a sole proprietorship, and these were cooperatives beating a sole proprietorship. I mean, the math tells you. But as soon as Jordan found out how to incorporate and to turn that sole proprietor into a co-op, three-peat, unstoppable. Unstoppable. And that's what I see us as black people. We're unstoppable. The only problem is we won't work together. I just got one other thing I want to pose. Cause we good. I'm gonna tell you one thing we're good at. We're good at tearing some shit down. I'm gonna tell you that. I mean, look what we've done to Tasha K. Tore a little site down to Target. Tear that down to all these other organizations. Tear that down. Asian boycott. Tear that down. A content creator we don't like. Tear them down. Put them out of business. We're good at the destruction part. We're terrible at the production part. Our ancestors were completely the opposite. They were producers. They wasn't about the destruction part. They was about the production part. And they produced. They produced. Look at that right there. They produced. They produced big time. You can't say nothing about them. They produced. How many Asian restaurants have we shut down and reopened as a joint venture between black people? I mean, that's what we said we was gonna do when we. That's what people were suggesting. I'm not talking about me personally, but that's what I don't even believe in the boycott. I think the boycotts got us in this mess that we in the first place because we was boycotting going to the white restaurants. We was boycotting to ride the white bus. We was boycotting to shop at the white stores. That's what the boycott's done for us. But what did we really get in return? Like even Black Lives Matter, what did we get in return? We was able to tear some shit down, make some people rethink. But what did we get in return? I mean, really think about that. What did we get in return? What? Where is the production part? Where is something that bloomed out of it? Where is something that actually bloomed out of it? I'm gonna tell you what the agents are gonna do. You're gonna shut down that business. They're just gonna find another business. They're gonna work as a team, and that's probably what they're probably gonna be stronger than they were before. Because this Asian person, they all gonna be having difficult. Then they already trying to work as teams because they now trying to target like our hair salons, our suppliers. See, they trying to stop the suppliers from coming to us for an affordable price. The hair product from coming to us for affordable price. They playing team ball. We playing one on one. Well, one on a whole team. And like I say, Jordan kept losing. Even though he was breaking records by himself, he was looking good as an individual. Let's just say, please, let's use Tyler Perry. He got that big old studio. Tell me if that studio wouldn't be more productive if he would have let Ryan Coogler buy a piece of it, and I don't know, Spike Lee buy a piece of it, uh, DuVernay buy a piece of it, uh, Lisa Ray, I mean Issa, I'm sorry, Issa Rae buy a piece of it. Like if that was a joint venture, if that was a co-op, tell me his studio wouldn't be doing better. Tell me his studio wouldn't be putting out better content. Tell me it wouldn't be movies flooding the airwaves, and tell me we wouldn't have content that fits our uh, culture better in a positive way. And the same with Jay-Z. Just think if that was a joint adventure with many minds, it would be stronger. That's all I'm saying. It's stronger. You can be a king. Same with Oprah Winfrey. You can be a king or a queen by yourself, but everybody else, your competition ain't playing that way. Your competition ain't playing that way. The people you are competing against aren't playing that way. They're playing as a team. Just think about what I said. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And this is your man T Can. You've been tuned in to the channel they call Royal Black. And until next time.